Alright, so good morning everyone. Today's video is one that I was definitely not hoping to make, but I think it is an important one to get out to you all in order to be transparent, but also very open and upfront. It's a video that will speak to my journey with what I've been posting with Starfield, but also just something for me to be able to open up to you all about YouTube and how I want to view my channel moving forward. And no, for those wondering, this is not some type of YouTube apology video or anything like that to speak about something that I did wrong. This is honestly more of like a confession video that will speak to the journey that I had with this video game and more. You know, I might apologize about a few things, but I don't feel like I inherently did anything wrong that would put me in a bad light. Just a couple of mistakes that I made that I want to own up to. Again, it's a way for me to just open up to you guys about everything about me. So I don't want to delay this anymore, so let's just jump right into it. So basically, for many of you who have noticed that recently within the last month or so, I have posted many videos around the game of Starfield. It was a game that I was very much looking forward to before it released years ago, just based on its concept and its premise, and how it as a video game would really transport me into a world that could leave me making some cool videos on it for YouTube. And with all that in mind, I certainly feel like at first I thought I had a grasp on it with the types of videos that I was making, but along the way though, the journey as it kept progressing, I started to notice the flaws in my plan with where I wanted to go with the channel on this video game. Basically, the gist behind this is that I missed the mark on what it truly meant to signify myself as someone who would be posting consistent content about this game on a regular basis. It was definitely most noticeable once the game came out, which is where I struggled with the most. That's usually the time where you'd want to jump on it as much as possible and make as many videos as you can. Unfortunately, many things got in the way of which I'm going to list off right now. So starting off with the biggest one for me, which got in my head more than I thought it would, and that is the fact that my real-life priorities of graduate school and job searching really did impact my ability to focus on anything else. For anyone who's new here, you'll know that YouTube is not my job. YouTube for me is more of a fun, passionate hobby to do on the side of everything else that I do with my life. I had also been working with an internship job, so just by coupling all this together, a lot of my time was really taken up during the day. And in my eyes, I would never have wanted to have been forced myself to work on videos if it meant sacrificing time to do all that other important stuff that could help me down the line for a huge career move. I would also say that procrastination was a big factor in this as well, because there are many times where I will procrastinate about something and just put myself in a headspace of not actually doing anything, and I hate myself for it. So I sincerely apologize for that. The next thing that I want to discuss actually has to do with YouTube itself, and in some cases you might hear me go on a bit of a rant and a passionate discussion about what this platform entails for creators, and especially small creators. So basically, I think some of you will notice that, like I did, that as the weeks started to go by, my videos started to progressively go down a little bit in terms of views and interactions. Simultaneously, you also saw that all these bigger channels were starting to get more traction themselves on Starfield. At the same time, you also saw dozens and dozens more channels latch onto this game by making videos on it, as opposed to when I was making videos about it weeks and weeks beforehand. I think this triggered something in the algorithm to where it started to boost those bigger channels infinitely more than the smaller ones. I think that the algorithm on YouTube is programmed to focus more on the bigger channels that YouTube knows is going to get them more views, which gets them more money, and after all, that's how YouTube makes their money. YouTube's main source of revenue is advertising. When people put ads on their videos, that allows them to make money, but then also YouTube as well. I thankfully am at the point where my channel has reached that goal to where my videos can be monetized, but that is not the point that I'm making here. The point here for me is that small creators on this platform, more than any other time in YouTube history, are significantly disadvantaged because of this. Because of that fact that YouTube and so many other platforms for that matter have prioritized these algorithmic based systems, it feels like you really have to put yourself out there in a way to where it feels like you're competing with other channels. That is what YouTube, for me, as far as I've seen, has become in the year 2023. It's not a free and open platform for everyone to be able to have their own videos be seen. It is a competition now. In order for yourself to be viewed and recommended, you not only have to be able to do better than the next person ahead of you, but then also the next person who might be coming up from under you. You have to be able to make better thumbnails, you have to be able to hone in on the titles of your videos, and in some cases, the editing for your videos needs to be pretty good as well. I feel like back in the day, like 10 years ago, this was just not the case. You didn't have to focus on all these kinds of things. At the same time, I would also argue that there is quite a bit of luck involved in some of these things too. YouTube has become way more saturated with all these channels than ever before, and I don't think that helps the system in any way. I honestly do believe that YouTube as a whole just needs an overhaul. I just think that this algorithm needs to be reworked. I think it needs to go back to the days of when just any person could make a video on anything and it would just organically just push them out to people, and not through these algorithmic based systems. And I honestly wonder how you all feel about that, or if anybody else has noticed this, but as a YouTuber, I see it all the time, and it's honestly really painful as a small creator. To be clear, this is not me making an excuse for myself, this is just mainly me speaking to what it is like to be a YouTuber, and not someone who's like a fan looking in at a YouTuber. You can do a lot of the things that people recommend you to do, but at the end of the day, there is a lot of luck involved, and you also have to be insanely consistent, which is not showcased here for myself with Starfield. Like I said already, real life got in the way and I couldn't keep up. And the algorithm also has an effect on that. If it sees that you're not being consistent and you are not pushing yourself more, then it's probably not going to help you out. And as a YouTuber, I can say this from experience, but when you notice that there is a drop in the views, it does eat at you. Again, your goal as a YouTuber is to make good, solid videos, but also to be able to reach people as much as you possibly can. And I know I certainly did that when I started making these Starfield videos, but again, when it started dropping off, I started to feel a little down. And when you couple in the fact that I was bogged down by everything else I was doing in life, it didn't have a good effect on my mind. I just didn't want to keep doing that to myself. And again, the last thing I will say about this point is that I don't want anybody to make it sound like I didn't put any passion and happiness into making those videos, because I did love making them. I thought they were really cool topics to discuss, and topics, might I add, that really pertain to some of my educational status as well. I spoke a lot to the marketing side of Starfield and what they were doing with some news stories, and a lot of that comes from what I know from my marketing education, which is what I'm going to school for. So I did love making those videos, and anytime I do make a video, I always have some form of passion and love for it, which is very important on YouTube, and I hope you all understand that. The last point that I want to go into with regards to my journey with this game and why ultimately I'm probably going to stop with this being the last video for it is because I felt I ventured off into an area that I was too unfamiliar with. This was a big mistake of mine, and I sincerely apologize for this one. Starfield is the first Bethesda game that I've ever started up and played, and I think that in a way hindered what it was that made me familiar with this style of game. One of the main reasons why I wanted to get on board with this game was because it was a title from a company that I had not played yet before, but also because of the fact that it was a brand new title and IP that was not from any of the other stuff that they had made previously. I certainly would not have started making videos for this game if it had been a Fallout game or an Elder Scrolls game. I definitely feel like it would have been somewhat necessary to have known a lot about those previous games beforehand if I were to jump right into it, but Starfield didn't really require that. It was a simple space game that really intrigued me because of that setting and concept. But even with that in mind, I still think that there was that notion of Bethesda lingering over my head that in some cases I needed to have way more knowledge of them than making some of those videos. I also found that with a game like this, I felt more happy just playing it than I did recording any footage around it to make videos. You know, you just have those times where you just get sucked into a game that you just want to enjoy it yourself and not worry about anything else around you. And so far, with the several hours that I have put into this game, I just never once thought about recording anything. This has pretty much taught me that for however long this channel is going to be around for the rest of the time, I am not going to jump into something video game wise that I am way more unfamiliar with than I had previously thought. Until I stop making videos on this channel, you are not going to find me going into a game like this again. I just thought that what could have came about from it would have been great, but I overestimated everything else around me that was a factor in preventing me from going further. Again, school, jobs, family for that matter as well, and then also the competition that is YouTube with its algorithm systems. For me, making videos is all about passion and love, to be able to tell a story and really entertain people and have conversations with them, which will transition over to my last point that I want to make for this video. So moving forward, like I said already, this is going to be the last video that I make about Starfield, and I sincerely apologize to all those who came to my channel because of it, and I want you to know that you deserve better, and I want to make sure that that's a thing moving forward. If you are somebody who did come here to my channel for this game but still wants to stick around for what I do in the future, I would happily appreciate that, but if you don't, I totally understand. Maybe at some point in the future, if I do finish Starfield, I'll post a little review of it in the community tab for you all to see. And speaking of moving forward, I'm going to take some time off for just a little bit to really reorganize myself for what it is that I want to do next here on the channel. And I'm thinking that what that is that I want to do next is head to a game and franchise that I am very passionate about and that I do know the best, more than probably any other video game out there. That game is probably going to be Call of Duty. I've grown up with this franchise, I've been playing it for more than 10 years and on now, and it's the one that I know the most, and it's also the one that I feel I can bring the most passionate videos with great topics for. After all, again, that's what I want YouTube to be for me, a passionate hobby where I can just make some fun videos. Something that I recently watched from one of my favorite YouTubers growing up in Dahi Denogla, if anybody's heard of him, he recently did a Q&A, and something that he talked about with regards to YouTube is that you are going to fail a lot before you succeed. I'm paraphrasing that, I'm not sure if those are the exact words, but it was something along those lines. And in today's day and age for a small creator, that is very true. Sometimes you have to try different things to see where you might truly fit in. I'm glad that I created a little community around Starfield, and it is something that I want to do moving forward with a new transition. Community is very important on YouTube, and so I hope to generate that more with where I go next. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank everyone who came to my channel for Starfield and showed love. I think there was a lot of great passion put into this game from a lot of the fans, and that stuff I love to see quite a lot. We will also see if this new adventure that I go on works or not, and if it doesn't, it's all good, because at least I tried and I still wanted to put passion into it. Again, passion, passion, passion. That is what matters most, and I want you all to make sure that you see that in my videos. So without further ado, I will not drive this video on anymore, and I will just end off by saying I hope you all understand where I'm coming from with this. I think it was very important for me to open up to you guys and admit to some of my mistakes I made. I think that's healthy and important when it comes to being a YouTuber. So again, I hope you all understand. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments if you want to say anything. I would greatly appreciate the like on the video, as well as subscribe if you are somebody who wants to stick around through for the long run. My next goal here with this channel is to reach 2,500 subscribers, and so I want to make that a priority as well. So again, for the time being, I'm just going to be taking a little short break from this channel, but you could probably also find me on my second channel where I'm posting a bunch of stuff around Star Wars if you are a fan of that kind of stuff. I hope everyone here has a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all soon when I do come back. This is Orion, signing out.